Hello, who's your fans, who's your haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. On today's episode, I'm going to be discussing the Week 14 power rankings as we head into rivalry week and the Big Ten championship game and bowl season happening soon. So let's just get right into it. So at number 18 is still Purdue. 17 is still Northwestern, but Purdue is 1-10, 0-8 in conference play. 16th ranked offense at 320.4 yards, and the last ranked defense at 440.9 yards. They lost at Michigan State 17-24, and this week they're at number 10 Indiana. And this has been their best game so far this season, but they couldn't get well, I would say their best game, either the Illinois games, Indiana State or the at Illinois was probably their two best games. I probably would say that. But now they're playing for pride at this point to try to not get 1-11. Number 17 is Northwestern, as I said before, 4-7, 2-6 in conference play, ranked 17th. They're in the not bowl contenders tier as well as the other four win teams. Because I'm going to say bowl contenders are the teams that actually get to 6 wins. Um, the least amount of yards per game in the Big Ten at 270.1 yards, and the 13th ranked defense at 359.9 yards. Last week they lost at Michigan 6-50, and this week they're hosting number 23 Illinois. It's just for pride at this point with those last two teams. Honestly, with these four, it's just for pride. Maybe an outside shot at the bowl game if not enough teams make it are bowl eligible. Which could happen. It could very well happen. Chaos could happen. And number 16 is Maryland. They're down one from being number 15. You could probably understand why very soon. Sixth ranked offense at 403.5 yards and the 16th ranked defense at 375 yards. Last week they lost against Iowa 13-29. This week they're at number 4 Penn State. Yeah, same thing I said before. Just can't get wins. They just it's I think it might be their offense. Even though they have the best passing offense, they just can't seem to get the ball. They can't seem to score. I need to see what their um, red zone is like because it can't be good. 83%. It's not terrible. 27 touchdowns on 42 attempts. That ain't great, but it's not like a UCLA or a Washington. Like, it's not fantastic, but I don't understand it. Maybe defense is their problem. Their red zone defense has been the big problem. They're fifth worst at 85%, but that's not to write home about. 25 touchdowns of 42 attempts. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the big plays that they're being burned on. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out for them. At number 15 is Maryland, 4-7, 3-6 in conference play as like everyone else basically. Uh, 14, still 14th. Well, down one for 15. Down one for 14th or 15th. 15th ranked offense at 325.6 yards, and the 12th ranked defense at 346.3 yards. Last week they lost against USC at home, 13-19, which was a pretty good game from what I've heard. But you should have won that. But this week they're against Fresno State. Like, yeah, it's pride and maybe an outside chance at a bowl game with how competitive they've been. And for bowl contenders, these are the 5-and-up teams. Michigan State 5-6, 3-5 in conference play. They're down one for being number 13th. 13th ranked offense at 340.7 yards. The ninth ranked defense at 329 yards. Previous week they beat Purdue 24-17, and this week they're at home against Rutgers. And this is the perfect opportunity to get to a bowl game. Get to 6 wins. There's gonna be a lot of Big Ten teams at 6 wins, so getting this win would be big. At number 13 is Wisconsin, 5-6, 3-5 in conference play. They're down four from where they were at nine. Ninth ranked offense at 367.1 yards. The 11th ranked defense at 339.8 yards. Last week they lost at North Nebraska 25 to 44. This week they were against at home against Minnesota. This is a must-win game for the Badgers. They've had a lot of close games against a lot of really, really good teams. They just haven't gotten it done. And now they got Minnesota home. They need to win. Need to win. And number 12 is Nebraska. 6-5, 3-5 in conference play. Up 4 spot for me, number 16. Finally, you get a win. The 11th ranked offense at 360.9 yards. The 10th ranked defense at 339.8 yards. They beat Wisconsin 44 to 25, and this week they're at Iowa. Finally, a bowl eligible for the first time in like 7 years. You finally get that over the hump. Now they have a tough game at Kinnick. Good luck, my friends. They're a tough game in Iowa. But getting this win would be massive for them because, well, yeah, it would be pretty big because Iowa's 7-4. If they get the win, they're instantly in that upper echelon of Big Ten teams, which I don't know if that's good or bad for them. At number 11 is USC, 6-5, 4-5 at conference play. Fourth ranked offense at 429.7 yards. The 15th ranked defense at 365.7 yards. Last week they won at UCLA 19 to 13. This week they're hosting number 5 Notre Dame. And welcome to Close Game Simulator, sponsored by the USC Trojans and Lincoln Riley. Now, good news about being a lot of close games is that you look like a really, really good team. The bad news is you've lost 5 of those. 5 of those games that have been really close. Because let's do a deep dive on USC real fast before I move on because USC is an interesting one. I think all 5 of their losses have been close. Because like I know the Penn State game was really close. That they could have found a way to win that one. I know the Michigan and Minnesota games were also really close, so they could have found a way to win that one. Those two. And that's been the theme of the Big Ten this season for a lot of the non-10-win teams has been missed opportunities because Michigan State lost by 3, Minnesota lost by 7, Penn State lost by 3. You lost at Maryland by 1, and then lost at Washington by 5. 3, 10, 13, 14, 19. They've been losing. They've all of their losses are on average are less than 5 points. They have all been one-score games, but they've been on their wins. They've been dominant. Like they've only had 2 one-score wins: Nebraska and UCLA, one by 8, one by 6. A 22-point win against Rutgers, a 17-point win against Wisconsin, 48-point win against Utah State. Well, also 7-point win against LSU too. But Nebraska, no, USC is only 4 or 5 plays away from actually being ranked. And you can say that about a lot of these teams. But USC is the big one. And they're number 11 in my rankings, where they could be 5. It's not a situation where they could be 1 or 18. No. Like 5 and like 14 with how the things are. But Notre Dame's in a true road game now. So this could USC could be very, very funny and win. Realistically, it's not impossible. And number 10 is Michigan, up 1 from being number 12 due to Wisconsin dropping. 6-5, 4-4 conference play. 17th ranked offense at 299.7 yards, and the 8th ranked defense at 316.3. Previous week they beat Northwestern 50-6, and this week they're at Ohio State, number 2 in the country, and it's the game trademarked. When you're going against the Ohio State trademarked, you gotta find a way to win. Please, it'd be funny. It'd be very, very funny. For the memes alone, it'd be hysterical. Because Ryan Day has not beaten Michigan. Ohio State has not beaten Michigan over 1,800 days. Please, please, Michigan, I beg you. I know I was saying that no team in the country could beat Ohio State at Ohio State, but if there's a team that can do it, it'd be hilarious. It'd be Sherrod Moore's Ohio State team. No, Michigan team. Sherrod Moore's Michigan State team. And they're on the up and up right now. Close game against Indiana. Dominate Northwestern. Now you got Ohio State. Interesting. It'll be an interesting game. At number nine is Rutgers, up one spot from where they were at 10. Eighth ranked offense at 382.6 and the 17th ranked defense at 393.2. Last week they lost at home against number 25 Illinois, 38 to 31. This week they're at Michigan State. And the only reason why they didn't drop that much, they drop at all actually, is because of how that game ended. The coach did the right thing in icing the kicker. The only issue was he did it too late. He should have done it probably as soon as it happened, as soon as they got in the lineup, because he got the kickoff and they saw that was short and they went into an actual play and they got to overtime. It just sucks. It just sucks. I don't want to rag on him for that. But then again, Rutgers Rutgers is in a situation where they could have a seventh win. They could be in a situation with that where they had a seventh win. A loss at Nebraska by 7. A loss against UCLA at home by 3. It could also be 5. Or they could be like it's just close games, miss opportunities. That's been the problem with the Big Ten. Number 8 is Washington, 6-5, 4-4 conference play, staying the same at number 8. Seventh in both offense and defense at 396.4 yards and 312.7 yards, respectively. Last week they were to bye. This week they're at number 1 Oregon, and I don't know if they're safely in a bowl game. At least make it competitive at Oregon, and you got a good shot at going to a good bowl game because everyone else is going to probably be 6-6. And number 7 is Minnesota, 6-5, 4-4 conference play, down one spot from being number 6. 14th ranked offense at 328.3 yards, and the 5th ranked defense at 302.3 yards. Last week they lost against number 4 Penn State at 26-25. This week they're at Wisconsin. And then again, here in life, the problem again. Minnesota could have 7 wins and be ranked right now. But they fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag again. And look, 3-point loss against Michigan State at Michigan State. Could have won that. 7 points against Rutgers. Could have won that. 2-point loss against North Carolina. Could have won that. 4 of their 5 losses were within a score. The only one that wasn't was against Iowa at home, which I think was an anomaly game. But then lies the problem. They could be 11-1 and another ranked Big Ten team fighting for the playoff. But missed opportunities. Missed opportunities. Because let's just look at point differential. So you got Ohio State, Indiana, 2 teams that are above 20. Oregon at 18, Penn State at 17, Iowa at 11. Then you have USC and Minnesota at 8, Illinois at 6 points, Nebraska at 4 points, Washington at 2 points, Rutgers at 2 points, and Michigan at 1.6, and Wisconsin at 1. I dropped my phone. Gosh dang it. I am so worked up that I dropped my phone. I'm sorry. Big Ten, come on. They would not be as joked around as they did if they would have taken care of their opportunities. And number 6 is Iowa. Speaking of Iowa, 7-4, 4-3 conference play. 12th ranked offense at 346.7 yards. 7th ranked defense at 311.7 yards. They beat Maryland 29-13. And this week they're hosting Nebraska. And I think Iowa winning this game would be massive for Iowa because there is no other team that can get to 8 wins. And just with how the bowl game picture is looking like, let me just take a quick peek at it. And let's say Indiana does go to the college football playoff. Iowa can get into the Realia Quest Bowl pretty easily against an SEC opponent. And then you got a lot of 6-win teams fighting to go to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And after this week, I'll go into like the bowl as we look towards that, what the bowl situation looks like, because it looks scary for the Big Ten. Anyways, just take care of business and you go to the Reality Quest Bowl against an upset three-loss SEC team. So good luck, honestly. Probably Ole Miss, if I had to guess. Ole Miss or Bama. You're gonna get an upset SEC team that's three losses. I hope you know that, Darren. I hope you know that. At number five is number 23 in the CFP rankings, Illinois. 8-3, 5-3 at conference play. Speaking of a team that's going to get an upset three-loss SEC team, they're definitely going to one of those two bowl games. 10th ranked offense at 357.3 yards, the 14th ranked defense at 363.2 yards. Last week they won at Rutgers 30-31. This week they're at Northwestern. Fantastic end of the game. I don't know if that should have been the way that Illinois should have won that game. Then the game where they probably shouldn't have won. But Illinois has been whatever I was going to say, like teams have not gotten taken care of opportunities. Illinois is kind of been on the opposite end in that spectrum. The three losses at Penn State by 14, crushed against Oregon, and you could argue the Minnesota game was a good opportunity that they squandered, but outside of that, they really haven't had any other opportunities that they really squandered. So they're kind of the opposite of that. So good on them. Beat Northwestern. Go to 9 wins. And number four is the 10th ranked team in the country, Indiana, 10-1, 7-1 at conference play. Fifth ranked offense at 425.7 yards. Second ranked defense at 261 yards. Their last game was a loss at number two, Ohio State, 15-38. This week they're against Purdue. And flat out, that was a terrible game. Flat out. Defense was all right, but everything else was bad. I I think Indiana should be still in the single digits, but take care of Purdue and you're in the playoff. If they're not, then oh well. You did if you take care of Purdue, win by 20, 30 points. Win by 30 points against Purdue, there's nothing you can argue. There's nothing else you can argue if everyone stays healthy that you shouldn't be in if you're Indiana. Just take care of business. Crush Purdue and just leave it in the playoff committee's hands and we'll see what happens. At number three is the fourth ranked Penn State, 10-1, 7-1 at conference play. Second ranked offense at 445.6 yards. Third ranked defense at 273.2 yards. Last week was a win at Minnesota, 26-25. And again, another team that's taking care of opportunities that didn't squander opportunities. Because flat out, they should have lost this game. Flat out. And James Franklin was able to get that win. Now, is it coaching? PJ Fleck is younger. He'll get there. Minnesota had a good season, and Penn State should have lost this game. Should have been another ranked win for Minnesota, but it is what it is. And number two is the second ranked Ohio State, 10-1, 7-1 in conference play. The third ranked offense at 439.1 yards. The best ranked defense at 241.7 yards. This week they're beat Indiana 38-15 last week, and this week they're hosting Michigan, and they're in the playoff. It's just a matter of if they win, they're in the Big Ten championship game. So there's that, and then if not, then Penn State takes it. If Penn State can't take the opportunity, then Indiana can take it. So we'll see. And then finally, still number one, Oregon. 11-0, 7-0 conference play. Best offense at 447.6. Fourth ranked defense at 287.4. They were to bye last week and they're hosting Washington. Top of the conference till they lose, but I debated on dropping it because Ohio State looked that dominant. It's neck and neck. We'll see how the rivalry game happens. If Ohio State absolutely dominates Michigan and Oregon's in another close game against Washington after a bye week, maybe. Maybe. All right. That's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share on all platforms. I'm going to ask you, where did I get it wrong, really? You can comment down below if how wrong I was.